come I didn't get a Christmas card? Everybody else got one. Jerry got one. Kramer got one. I thought we were good friends. I don't get a Christmas card. I don't get it.
You want a Christmas card? You want a Christmas card? All right, here. Here's your Christmas card.
Hey, Vinny, listen to this.
I never heard anything like this in my life. Listen to this.
This is exciting! This is exciting! Huh? Did I miss anything already?
Kramer, get in!
Kramer! Where's the crazy man?
Hey! Sit down. Come on, it's about to start.
On Prancer, on Dancer, on Ethel, on Harriet.
All right, and welcome to Seincast, a retrospective on all 180 episodes, being hosted by two guys who can barely run their own lives. Merry Christmas, Vinny.
Ho, 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 Matt.
How you doing?
Doing pretty good, Matt. How are you?
Doing well. I'm sitting next to my Christmas tree right now. I've got a roaring fire, got my slippers on. There's wrapping paper everywhere.
Mm-hmm. A chest of nuts?
Yeah, a chest of nuts. You don't celebrate with a Christmas tree, right? You still have the Festivus pole up?
Yeah, I find the tinsel distracting.
Right.
So I stuck with the old Festivus pole.
Are you having a good Christmas?
You want the truth?
Yeah, sure.
So families in Florida, brothers and sisters are doing their own thing. So I'm celebrating...
with me today, just talking
That's
about
right.
Seinfeld. Well, Vinny, what episode are we talking about today, this beautiful Christmas morning?
That's right. We are talking about the 8th episode of Season 3, The Tape, written by Larry David, Bob Shaw, and Don McEnery, directed by David Steinberg, and aired November 13th, 1991.
And for everyone listening, Vinny and I are following the episode order on our DVDs, which might contradict the air date order or most online guides. So if you didn't receive Seinfeld on DVD for Christmas, Hanukkah, Festivus, what have you, we recommend that you go out and buy it. But if you prefer not to, we'll include our episode order in our show notes. Now, Vinny, something feels kind of weird. Is this the first time we've had 3 writers credited for an episode?
I think you may be right, Matt. Well, we know LD.
Yes.
Then we have 2 names that are very new to us, Bob Shaw and Don McEnery.
Right. We have a little bit of background on Bob Shaw. He was a stand-up comedian in the 1980s. The story arc of George's baldness cream, or I'm sorry, what do you call it, a bald
I'd say
cure cream?
George's quest for a bald cure.
Right. This was based on an experience that Bob Shaw and Larry David had while Larry David was living in the apartment next to Kenny Kramer. I guess Bob Shaw was, around during that time. He is a fellow baldy. So this is something. Yes. So this is something that the two of them related to. I don't know who was the one that ordered the bald cream.
I'm not sure myself.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to point out if in fact it was Larry seeking. You know what? It was Larry. Because as we'll find out, the camera shots, the POV shots of Kramer filming with Spector's camera during the episode are in fact recreations of the footage that Bob Shaw and Kenny Kramer took of Larry while Larry was trying out this bald cream in the 80s. So I'd just like to point out, for those of us who are, big Curb fans as well, contrary to what Larry puts out there in his Curb persona of not wanting to do anything to beautify himself or improve his historic remains of a once great society of hair, he did try to improve his scraps.
Yeah, so some alternative medicine.
I found that interesting.
Well, Bob Shaw, actually, the name might not sound familiar, but he was in a couple of episodes of Seinfeld, right?
Yes.
The first appearance was in the 4th season finale called The Pilot. He played one of the guys working at the Equal Employment Opportunity Office that Elaine visits. She meets with one guy, his name's Fred, and she's like, hey, this restaurant on the Upper West Side is only hiring large-breasted women. And then this guy says, hey, Paul. And he's like, yeah, and then he repeats the same thing, and he's like, oh, really? And later in the episode, you see the two of them eating dinner there.
And Mr. Bazagna comes over and says, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you guys ought to move in.
and Paul, played by Bob Shaw, he's, again, bald, glasses. I think fans might recognize him more as a cabbie that shows up in the season 6 finale, The Understudy, and the Scofflaw episodes.
That's how I always remember him, because he has 2 very notable deliveries, or two very notable lines that will remember. So when Elaine says to the cabbie, I hate smugness. Don't you hate smugness? And he responds with, smugness is not a good quality. And then she's like, and then he says later on in the episode, yes, revenge is good, very good.
Right.
And then in the understudy, he also gets mad at Jerry, George, and the understudy for Bette Midler. I'm blanking on her name right now.
I'm blanking on her name too. This is embarrassing.
But hey, you're not important enough to remember. But he's I'm talking to her. But he says, you're the guys who got Bette Midler thrown out of Rochelle Southern Musical. I want you out of my cab.
Yes.
So that's Bob Shaw.
That's Bob Shaw. Another bit of trivia that I found very interesting, especially since 2 weeks ago we talked about the parking garage episode. And what was interesting about the parking garage was there was no audience watching the filming of that episode, right?
There couldn't be.
They couldn't be. Literally, they had to dismantle all of the sets, build this parking garage, which took up the entire space. There's no way logistically to get an audience in there, one. Two, I think the episode was a little complicated in terms of shooting, that it would have taken way too long. As we discussed, they went into shooting, 4 a.m.? There's no way they could have had an audience around that long to record. So when they filmed this episode, the tape on Wednesday, October 16th, before the show started, the audience watched an edited version of the parking garage. So this audience here is, in a sense, the same audience from the parking garage.
What a treat that must have been for those audience members. They got a twofer. They got to watch the parking garage, and then they got to watch a live taping.
God, that's the way to go.
I could go back to 91.
So this episode, The Tape, was nominated for a few Emmys as well. It received an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Writing in a Comedy Series, and good old director David Steinberg for Outstanding Individual Achievement in Directing in a Comedy Series.
I got to say, he nailed it in this episode.
He is so good, man.
It's got such a unique look and presentation, and it stands out as a uniquely shot Seinfeld episode.
A couple of shots that come to mind when that POV shot of the camera, as you mentioned, on George's head is fantastic. Just the POV shot of the video camera in general is
using the the monitor feed of the video camera for one. There's some nice wide shots in Monks where you see the other side of the booth that they're sitting on, and there's like a high chair there. So you really you're seeing more of the diner. There's nice close-ups. There's the shot of George where he's flustered after Elaine has gotten out of the car and he just can't take it anymore.
He's almost taking up the whole screen.
Yes.
We're sort of getting ahead of ourselves here, but or at least I am. The final moment of the show, as you pan from Kramer to Jerry to George.
Exactly.
One of just the best shots, or just camera movements in the show. Just wonderful. All right, enough gushing. Shall we get on with the show?
Let's do it.
The transplant, the hair plug, is an interesting procedure. It's really quite amazing. Hair that was on your shower soap yesterday can be in your head tomorrow. How did they do the first transplant? Did they have the guy take a shower, get his soap, rush it in there by helicopter, keep the soap alive on a soap support system? Eventually move it over. We got the hairs, but I think we lost the zest. Sometimes the body rejects the transplant. With organs, is it possible that a head could reject a hair transplant? The guy's just standing around somebody, bink. Lands in someone's frozen yogurt.
I liked it. The thing that stands out to me is the sound that Jerry makes. The guy standing there suddenly and bink motions the hair flying out of his head. Yes. I thought that was a very funny way to capture that moment, that thought, and that always makes me laugh out loud.
Yeah, I like this. I like the concept too of the soap support system, preserving the hair.
But relating the transplantation of an organ to hair, hair that was on your soap can be on your head today. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So our first scene of the episode is at Jerry's apartment, and he's at the dining room table. He's got an open notebook and listening to a tape on his headphones while
on a Walkman.
Walkman.
A little dated.
A little bit. But there's this repairman working on Jerry's fridge, and this character is very odd because this whole issue with Jerry's fridge breaking down or having a bad gasket, as this guy mentions, never really plays out in the episode.
Well, the gaskets are asymmetrical, Matt, so there's a reason he's there.
And we should really get into the nitty gritty here. He took off the motor relay on the compressor.
Because you got some discoloration.
Oh, okay. This character, though, I don't get entirely because his name is John in the script, right?
Correct.
And his name is John in real life, right?
The actor's name is John Apicella. He was the security guard in Point Break.
Oh, of course.
Right? You may know him. He played in a Friends episode. He was in Jake and the Fat Man. And he also was in one episode of New Adventures of Old Christine. He played a judge.
Okay, so there's a connection. This character, though, he seems kind of slow. I don't know if he just has a speech impediment. I don't know if it's like a mean characterization.
I'm just picking up on like a Chicago or Midwest kind of accent. Mm-hmm. But all I can imagine is the casting call read for "We need a bald guy."
I guess that is really the role he's fulfilling here, right?
He's setting up George's storyline, which we'll be introduced to in a couple seconds.
Right. As we know, George enters the scene, and you might hear a couple of familiar bites here. This was the episode that I lifted a lot from for our intro that you hear at the beginning of every episode.
They're not supposed to know that.
Well, they do now. George asks Jerry what he's listening to, and Jerry explains that he was trying out some new material from a show last night, and it seems like Jerry is just giving himself some notes, I guess, like what bits worked, what didn't. Mm-hmm. And I love this because this feels like a realistic thing that either Jerry or a stand-up comedian would do if they really wanted to hone their craft.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure well, what do I know? But I can imagine they always record their sets or have some means for keeping track of how the sets went and kind of analyzing it and then going from there. But what I like is that, the initial intention of Seinfeld was to be how comedians got their material and the everyday life that they went through, getting the dry cleaning and, going to the diner. But this is kind of what I imagine Jerry and Larry's initial vision was to have, as boring as it looks on paper, Jerry is sitting down listening to a Walkman. That's what comedians did. So...
And I guess what Jerry does at this point, and probably won't do in the future, is take George's advice for some new material. And George asks, hey, did you ever do the bit about how the big toe is like the captain of the toes, but sometimes the toe next to the big toe gets so big there's a power struggle and the second toe assumes control of the toe?
The coup d'etat.
Which is cheesy. I mean, really cheesy.
It's cute.
It's a very cute joke. In the show, of course, Jerry did try it, and it totally bombed. It didn't work. Nothing.
So you just kind of jogged my memory. Did you ever see Shallow Hal?
No, I didn't.
Oh, man. Jack Black, Gwyneth Paltrow, and our favorite Jason Alexander.
Is that the one when he has a tail?
He does.
Or say,
spoiler alert.
Sorry.
But Jason Alexander wears a hairpiece in it, which is part of his character. But Jason Alexander is as shallow as the main character, Hal, played by Jack Black. But there is a story arc in the movie where Jason is dating this beautiful woman. She's got these crystal blue eyes, and she looks like a model. But Jason's character breaks up with her because her toe is longer than her big toe. And that's kind of what's going on here. So it's amazing how this little storyline
It reminded you of it.
Yeah, but it's the same thing.
Oh no, I could totally. Hey, we make some pretty big reaches in this show. I think we'll let that one slide.
This test, they did.
It is interesting to think of George pitching stand-up material to Jerry because the original idea for Seinfeld, when it was originally called stand-up, I think, would follow two comedians around New York, or at least be about two comedian friends. And George's character, in a sense, would have been that stand-up comedian. So it's almost like they're dipping back into that origin a little bit.
Yeah.
Too bad it didn't work out for him. George asks if he can use Jerry's phone because he has to call China for hair. Vinny, he needs to call him for hair because the Chinese have done it. They've discovered the cure for baldness.
Notice how George offers to pay for the call?
Oh, good point.
I just thought it was interesting how, he volunteers to pay, which is a deviation from the norm.
Yeah. Now we get a little bit of material from the repairman who's very excited.
Did you see that last night?
On CNN? Well, there's this doctor, Chinese doctor, Zhang Zhao, who has discovered the cure for baldness. And At this point, Kramer enters with a video camera filming Jerry, as you mentioned.
Old school video camera with the eyesight and the one you have to hold on your shoulder.
Right. Who did this come from? His friend?
So his friend Spectre gave it to him. He was actually previously mentioned in the parking garage. He was the gentleman who had a fat fetish, like Killer Kowalski, who would just grab the fat and just gouge it. And he's becoming a minimalist, so he's giving everything away.
And I love that Jerry line that doesn't the fat fetish conflict with the minimalism, which that feels like something that was raised in the writer's room.
Yeah.
It sounds like, wait a second,
Yeah.
I thought he was a fat fetishist.
Let's also keep track here. Now, this is the first nod to a previous episode, and I believe there are 3 mentions of previous episodes that get referenced here, which is kind of nice. These throwbacks.
What do you mean exactly?
I'm saving them.
Oh, okay.
So again, Spectre was mentioned in the parking garage, and now he's referenced here. So these callbacks. Mm-hmm. So I'll let you know when the next one comes.
Okay. Well, Kramer also brings up the CNN report and tells George that, well, you can't call China now because it's like 3 a.m. in the morning there.
Kramer knows everything, doesn't he? He knows the time difference between China. Mm-hmm. He's a little know-it-all.
Oh, definitely.
And he says it with such confidence. You can't call over there now. It's like 3 in the morning.
Oh, my God.
What?
Oh, God. Oh, man. Oh. I can't believe what I'm hearing. This woman's talking to me on my tape recorder while I was on stage. This is wild. I never heard anything like this in my life. Listen to this.
Oh, my God. Wait. Who is this woman?
I don't know. I have no idea. I was just listening and she came on.
This is like a penthouse letter. Why can't I meet women like
All right,
this?
come on.
Wait. Where was the tape recorder?
It was in the back of the room on the ledge. She must have been sitting right in front of it.
My God.
All right, come on, it's my turn.
All right. How are you going to find out who this is?
Good question.
Where's the volume?
So things are getting a little...
Hot and heavy, if you will.
Yes, absolutely. That little mention of the penthouse letter made me laugh because it made me think of the dinner party when Kramer makes him buy the penthouse for him.
I also got to say, with the ending of this scene with Kramer grabbing the tape recorder, fumbling to find the volume, and then he just sets it to max, and that yelp he lets out. But again, I think we've been saying this the past couple episodes, but Kramer's all in now. He's in full swing. We got the giddy ups, we got the da-da-da-das, everything. Like we have the Kramer that we know right now.
Yeah, and you can tell that Michael is probably the most comfortable he'll be with the role. Of course, he'll keep evolving and adding new elements to the Kramer character, but no longer do you get the vibe that he's still trying to figure out who he is, what's going on.
He's no longer playing it slow. Now he's kind of ahead of the curve, evidenced by, you can't call China 3 a.m. in the morning. He's ahead of everything.
Sure.
Also, he has some entrances in the episode where he's sliding in or jumping in. So he's flying right now.
Absolutely. Now, can we talk about this tape for a second? This recording that we never exactly hear. There's little bits. You can hear they recorded something.
Yeah.
And it gets, as you mentioned, a little hot and heavy, but a bit of a plot hole here, or at least an issue I have. Wouldn't they recognize Elaine's voice?
No.
You don't think so?
Not when she makes it all flinty and sultry. But, I mean, she does that voice in the coffee shop, and she's able to kind of mask it.
That's a good point, I guess. It's weird because you have all 3 of them listening to the voice. You think that one of them would be like, this kind of sounds like Elaine.
Well, given the content of the tape, I'm sure they're more concerned with that versus, this voice kind of sounds familiar.
Fair
Although
point.
having said that, Kramer, when he makes his 976 call, recognizes Jane's voice as being flinty.
Whoa, where did you pull that from? That's a really good point.
My brain.
Next scene is at Monk's. Jerry and George enter the restaurant. They're in the middle of a debate. Love it when this happens. I feel like we don't get this as much in the later seasons.
Yeah.
Just because every line seems to matter more. What they have here is they're debating whether the Chinese are lying about the bald cream. George doesn't see what they have to gain, whereas Jerry thinks if they had it, they wouldn't let it out of the country. If there was no baldness, it would be like a nation of supermen, which is awesome. Love that.
Oh, yeah. There was an alternative line to that, to George's question of what would the Chinese have to gain by faking a cure for baldness. And Jerry responded, I imagine there's a certain amount of prestige attached. First country to put a hair on a man.
Another great line.
Yeah.
That would have been just as good, but I don't think I could pass up a Superman reference.
True.
So they're meeting Elaine, who's already in the booth, and...
Hi, boys.
Vinny, may we get your Elaine review of the episode? How does she look?
Breathtaking. I was telling Matt this earlier. I have to say, I think this is the most beautiful she has looked. She's got her hair down. She's glowing. And I'm sorry. I can't help it. She is stunning.
I don't know how to set this up, but Jerry wants Elaine's opinion on the bald cure, but George mistakenly mentions the sexy message left on the tape instead. And
yeah, Jerry and George came in. They're discussing this subject of the bald cream and a cure for baldness. And the subject has not resolved itself of its own volition yet. But Jerry says, I'm curious. I want to hear what Elaine thinks. So George just says, well, Jerry had this woman leave this sexy message on his tape. It's just so funny to me how, and of course Jerry responds, not that, you idiot.
Oh no. It's interesting to gauge Elaine's reaction. I wonder if Julia struggled with the response or just hearing this information, because she of course left the message.
Yeah.
How should she respond to this? And
she had to play cool.
She did have to play it cool. It's really interesting. If anyone can cue the episode up to this moment, she looks a little nervous. She doesn't have, if this makes sense in like acting circles, it's almost like she doesn't have a reaction at all. Like she reacts without reacting. She's just kind of like, all right, let me let these idiots, freak out about something I don't know about.
That's funny the way you said that, because in Curb Your Enthusiasm, the Seinfeld arc in season 7, Jason has a book called Acting Without Acting. And
I remember that.
And Larry comment, because it's
so
thin. And Jerry comments to Larry under his breath, this is more like a pamphlet than a book.
Oh, God, I cannot wait to get to that episode. 2019.
Seinfeld? Run over.
Oh, yeah, this weird moment here. Before Jerry gets to explain about the tape or the baldness, someone from the other end of Monks yells for Jerry. Now, this is kind of weird because the guy's name it's not Peter.
Beater. B as in boy, E, D as in dog, E-R. Beater.
Right, Beater. And he's played by Norman Brenner, who we've brought up many times on the show, or at least several times. He's Kramer's stand-in, right?
Yes, he's the redheaded individual that you always see in background shots and walking around as an extra. You may also remember him as Ian.
Ian?
Ian.
Ian.
In the Wigmaster episode when Elaine is getting the Nico Millers from Milan.
Now, before George and Elaine start talking about the sexy tape message, they did address the bald cream, right?
Right. In an earlier draft, George says he wouldn't have to do it if women weren't so superficial. To which Elaine replies, we're superficial? Could you imagine if women were the ones who went bald? You'd put us in internment camps.
Which is a very fair point. I wonder how internment camps would have played with the audience.
Yeah.
On Seinfeld, there are jokes. If we're just the ones rehashing it, it's of course not that funny. Leave it to the actors to make it funny. But I wonder why that line was cut exactly. Was it because of the internment camp line? Was it?
But they've used other types of World War II humor before. And
yeah, that's a good point. I just wonder why lines like this get cut for one reason or another.
This one might have been because of time, but we have no way of knowing.
Or maybe to keep things more on track with the sexy message arc.
Perhaps.
So, did you hear this message?
Man, it was unbelievable.
Really?
I can't get over it.
Sexy?
This woman drove us out of our minds.
Like, how did she sound?
She had this throaty, sexy kind of whisper.
Really? Jerry, I want to slide my tongue around you like a snake.
You? You? That was you? How did you...
I stopped in the club to see him, and I was standing in the back while he was on, right? And there was this tape recorder there, and I got this impulse. What?
No, nothing.
Now listen, promise me you won't tell him, okay? I want to have a little fun with this.
I had no idea you were filled with such sexuality.
Oh, that was nothing. So listen, what about this bald thing?
Oh, it's a bald thing. I don't know. It's nothing.
You remember Beater?
Peter?
Yeah, you remember Beater. Remember I told you how we went to the track that one time and he was yelling at this jockey? And the jockey got off the horse, started chasing him?
So listen, what about this girl on your tape recorder?
Oh, Elaine. What do you think an enraptured female fan of mine might say?
I don't know.
She went on in some detail about certain activities, illegal in some states for consenting adults, things you would know very little about.
Oh, really?
Well, this type of thing is very common when you're in show business.
So what, are you gonna ask her out?
No, I can't. She didn't leave her name or number.
Bummer. Okay, good luck finding her. I'm taking off.
Where are you going?
Home?
What are you going home for?
Well, I just came from the gym, unless I could shower at your place.
Sure.
This moment when Elaine does the voice, it's like I feel a little conflicted because it's hilarious. It is sexy. It's wonderful. But when you pair that with George's reaction, it's so disturbing.
He is a creep in this scene. He's doing so many subtle things with like his eyes flickering. He's getting a napkin to wipe his forehead. He's kind of pulling at his collar. He's so flustered, but you can tell he's turned on by the news that Elaine was the voice on this tape.
Right, and this is, I think, where, while it might be uncomfortable to us and maybe to some of our listeners, this is the only way to do this episode, to combine the sexiness, the tantalizing aspect with the gross, uncomfortable, stalkery angle of George.
Oh, Jason plays it so well, but just as an audience, I'm taking a step back looking at it, and I'm repulsed.
You almost feel guilty a little bit. You're like, oh God, I'm George.
Yeah.
Next scene is at Jerry's apartment, and it's nighttime as we set up in the clip. George is just sitting in the chair listening to the tape. This is a lot of strikes against George in this episode because even though he knows it's Elaine, he's still going for the tape. That makes it a little bit more enjoyable for him. And he's really getting aroused, I have to say. Jerry's going on about how he doesn't understand why a woman would leave the message with no way of getting in touch with her. And there's this great moment of panic when Elaine comes out of the bathroom in a robe, towel from the shower, and George just throws the tape recorder onto the coffee table. And Elaine's having a little bit of fun with Jerry at this point because she knows this is kind of, tearing him apart, that he obviously wants to meet this woman, and she jokes, well, hey, maybe she realized she couldn't have him and just jumped off the George Washington Bridge.
Operator, Beijing.
Phone rings.
Jerry asks George, why are you doing this? And of course, George responds, why would I do anything? And he sees Elaine bending over, fixing her hair. George responds, for women.
Yeah, but it's creepier than that.
He's checking out her rear end.
Derriere. I honestly don't know how to feel this episode. I don't mean to sound weird because it's a comedy show. Come on, it's all jokes. But when you think of, it's not that I'm concerned for Elaine's safety. I don't think George is a monster by any means. But knowing who these characters are up until this point and knowing where they'll go after this point, it's just so bizarre to think of George being attracted to Elaine.
I think it's that combined with, even at the end of the show, that shot we talked about where you're panning down from tallest to shortest. But each one of them is lusting after Elaine. So there's a very animalistic nature about how Jerry's kind of swallowing and Kramer's kind of like, pursing his lips and George is making that. I think that's what makes it kind of uncomfortable is the main characters are lusting after the only female lead on the show.
Right.
In a purely sexual way. It's not romantic by any means. You
True.
know?
If anything, it's, I mean, not that it's respectable, but it's almost an example of men at their primate stage.
Purely carnal.
Now, before we move on to our clip here, Jerry points out that since Elaine has never gone out with a bald man, that makes her a baldist.
Breaks my heart to hear that.
Why does that break your heart?
Because I'm baldman.
Baldman.
But she does end up going out with a guy who is from the future, Kurt, who shaves his head for his swim team.
That's true.
In the Little Jerry episode. So we got her back. So, that's one for our side.
But doesn't she break up with him when she realizes
Hey.
Okay.
Shut your mouth.
This whole terminology of being a baldist, is this used in Curb ever?
I know they talk about having bald brothers, and Larry doesn't feel that if you voluntarily shave your head bald, you are not recognized by the bald community, you and your fellow bald brothers.
Right.
The bald community is a particular sect.
Yes.
So, but I don't think baldist is a term ever thrown around in Curb.
Good point. Well, Kramer enters with a video camera once again.
Ooh, you're taping.
Just be yourselves.
Oh, okay.
Well, we're talking with Elaine Benes, adult film star, on the set of her new picture. Elaine does the Upper West Side.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Do you speak English? English!
Oh, here's the director, Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry, you discovered Elaine Benes.
Well, yes, I did. That's true. A couple of guys I knew in the Coast Guard told me about her. And I sensed that she had the anger and intensity that I needed to make this film work.
English! Does anybody speak English? Nobody speaks English.
So, what scene are you getting ready to shoot now, Elaine?
In this scene, my co-star, who's right over here, follow me, is George Costanza. And he plays an airline pilot who's just returned from Rome, and I'm about to show him how much I've missed him.
That's my Chinese food. So, George, is this your first movie with Elaine?
I don't know.
So, Elaine, in your movies, is the sex real or is it simulated?
Oh, it's always simulated. Except with George. That's in my contract.
All right, Kramer, that's enough. Hello? Yeah, hello? English!
To me, there's some great moments this episode. I was shocked how much I loved the tape after watching it.
This one so flies under the radar.
It really does. This scene, this segment in particular, is one of the best Seinfeld scenes of all time. Of all four of them, working together in Jerry's apartment. I love it.
And it's kind of like improvisational comedy where Kramer starts this little game of Elaine does the Upper West Side, and then everybody just runs with it. Elaine's on board, Jerry's on board, and it's beautiful with the POV shot from Kramer's camera. It's hard to say. It's absolutely pure brilliance.
What's interesting, though, too, is these characters, at least as a group, will never joke about this sort of thing again. The only thing that comes to mind is when Elaine's dating that guy that gets her the mattress from the lumbar yard.
Yeah.
And
or back in business.
Back in business. And Elaine and
Good
Kramer.
I'm sorry.
Keep on going. Elaine and Kramer have this kind of flirtatious moment where he's like, I'll be by later to pick it up. And she goes, ooh, baby. Other than that, like, I feel like there's not a lot of, like, joking about having sex and being, like, you know what I'm talking about?
I got one for you.
Oh, what do you got?
I'm not difficult. I'm easy. Why? Because you dress casual and sleep with a lot of men?
Excellent point. God, that's
hey, you
another
little
good one.
smile.
We should just do the entire show. I don't know why we spend time breaking down each moment.
That line, actually, that Jerry says, I don't know why we're being so uptight and protective of Elaine in this episode.
Because we're perverts. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah, no depravity. We are filthy, disgusting animals. We're just.
But when
go ahead.
When Jerry says a couple of guys I knew in the Coast Guard told me about her, that made me change my position in my chair. Another thing I want to point out about this scene is when you see Kramer, his point of view from filming. He is filming George and Elaine sitting on that chair off to the side. You can actually see a little bit more of the back wall of the apartment.
When you see more of the wall as it reaches the end of the set, it makes Jerry's apartment look even bigger. Like it's huge.
Yeah.
Because I always imagined the wall, the fourth wall, so to speak, ran right along the counter, right where the TV is. Boom.
It's an actual wall.
Sure. But when you see that, you realize there's another, 10 feet or so.
And I don't like that. I like the idea of having Jerry's apartment be very small. Because that's another thing about Seinfeld that's great. Because of all the shows that are, grounded in or placed in New York, his looks like a somewhat legitimate apartment versus Friends or How I Met Your Mother. They got these lavish, multiple level apartments, got a step-in living room.
And it's not like, he is a stand-up comedian, a pretty successful one at that, and look what he can afford. It's almost like nowadays they have to write into the character that, I'm an architect or I'm a doctor, something to justify why you'd have such a big place. Now, before we move on, this whole joke about the Elaine does the Upper West Side, I thought we could talk a little bit on the topic of porn parodies.
More porn on our show.
Well, early on, we did talk about the Seinfeld porn parody out there. It's called Seinfeld XXX, a porn parody. Yep. There's actually two of them. There's the first one. They did a sequel, I believe, with the same cast of characters.
So good they had to do it a second time.
Yes. Now, I actually thought those were the first and only Seinfeld porn parodies.
So did I.
Yes. There's actually another one called Hindfeld, which was a little less specific. It didn't... the production quality wasn't nearly as good as the recent porn parodies, but it does exist. It is out there. It's not really worth your time. Let's just say I heard from someone.
The cover of it looks like it belongs in the early 90s. You know, the bright colors and the patterns, but none of the characters, at least on the box, look like any of their counterparts from the show.
Yes, which
is kind of sad. Whereas the modern day ones, the Seinfeld XXX parody, everybody's in the full getup. Elaine has the hair. Jerry's in the blue denim shirt with the black pants and the white shoes. Kramer's got that's the best part about it is the attention to detail. Even the layout of the apartment is identical. And I believe if you go on YouTube, they have just the I don't know how you describe it, but
the plot, like the safe for work sections.
There you go. That's what I was trying to say.
If you're a fan of what they're parodying, you actually want to watch the story because it looks like Jerry's apartment, and they all have on the right outfits and this right hair, and it's great in my opinion, at least.
Well, the opening of the Seinfeld, the modern day one, is Seinfeld doing stand up, and it's got the music, and he's actually discussing sexual positions, but he's doing like, what's the deal with? And I'm not going to say it on this podcast, but it's pretty damn funny.
Well, if I can find this clip on YouTube, I'll include it in our show notes for this week. Maybe we should have a podcast just for the porn parodies since we're talking about it so much.
We sure like to bring it up a lot.
Yeah, we sure do. At this point, George is on the phone with Beijing, and he's really struggling to find someone that speaks English, and we get the first appearance of a very specific delivery boy by the name of Ping.
Ping!
Good old Ping. He's dropping off Kramer's Chinese food. I thought it might be the pea pods, but
not yet.
No. Maybe the noodles have extra MSG, but who knows? What do you know about Ping here? Ping Wu, actually, is his last name.
Ping Wu? Ping Wu has been in everything, this guy. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny because now he's being cast as an elderly character, and I still think of him as the Ping we know from Seinfeld. Mm-hmm. But here's a little bit of his rap sheet. He was in The Hunt for Red October. He was in I Love You Man. He played Mr. Chu.
I never saw I Love You Man.
Oh, it's a good little movie. He was in 4 episodes of Seinfeld. He's in The Tape, The Virgin, The Visa, and The Pilot. He was in Bubble Boy, that Jake Gyllenhaal vehicle.
God, that movie again.
I don't know why it keeps coming up. Horrible Bosses 2 he's in. Californication.
Was he in Jake and the Fat Man?
Haven't gotten to there yet.
Okay.
Californication, How I Met Your Mother, The Charlie Sheen Anger Management Show, Desperate Housewives, Casual, The Shield, Two and a Half Men, 24. And what I'm most happy to bring up, he was the proctor in the Arrested Development episode, Justice is Blind. So when Julia Louis-Dreyfus, her character is Maggie Lizer, when she's taking her bar exam, the guy who's proctoring the exam is Ping. I love it when a Seinfeld characters cross paths outside in the... Oh, it's great.
Well, the joke is in that, right, that he's kind of giving her the answers. Like, he feels bad for her since she's blind, that he'll just write in the correct answers on her test. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, right?
I never knew that. I thought I knew everything. I know nothing. Well, since Ping can speak Chinese, George wants him to speak with Beijing at the hair restoration clinic and tell them that he wants to place an order. And this moment is so good. It's only good if you're watching the episode. The audio doesn't do it justice, but Ping starts speaking into the phone, and then he looks at George and just starts laughing like with the other person on the other line. I love that. I was trying to figure out while I was taking notes what they might have said about George.
Short, stocky, bald man.
Something like that. Yeah. Something degrading, I'm sure. Now, this line from George, I never really got when he says, 1 billion people over there, and he found a relative. I don't know why that line just...
You find that offensive or something?
No. God, I'm like the uptight one. No, I don't find it offensive. It's just like a weird... Just because he's laughing with a guy, like...
It's as if they're very friendly. You know, Ping sits down, starts reading a magazine, and they're talking like they're two brothers. You know,
that's a good point. I don't know why George's line I never found it as funny as the audience finds it.
That's because you're an idiot.
There it is.
I'd also like to point out that Jerry is drinking a Minute Maid juice box in this scene.
I noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It reminds me of Jerry being that childlike. You know, having that childlike wonder is him drinking a little juice box.
Sure. A little bit of product placement we might bring up. But there's some great dialogue here, though, where Ping says, hey, if you send them money, they send cream. And he's like, they send me. And we have these great lines that are just so quotable with Ping claims it'll make your hair grow, look like Stalin. I like that one a lot.
And ask him, are there any side effects?
Impotence.
So, and they're like, funny guy. So even the delivery boy is getting in on the good-natured ribbing of George.
Yeah, this is a really great scene for a character at this point we don't expect to see again. This is really nice interaction between characters. It would be funny, though, if Ping isn't joking, like it really does cause impotence, and George is like, what the hell, I'll get it anyways.
And then they could have started the mango next episode.
That's true. Or the fix-up, my boys can swim.
There you go.
Hey.
Nice one.
So Ping explains, send the money order from the Bank of China, and the cream will arrive 3 days after they get the check. And here's that great moment that you mentioned. Ping just sits down and casually continues talking to the person on the other line. How long do you feel like Jerry waits until he says something?
Gotta be 7-10 seconds. He's really selling it, which is nice.
Oh yeah.
At how ridiculous, the gall of this Chinese delivery boy to sit on his couch on a long distance phone call, just yapping away. Mm-hmm. Excuse me, kind of an expensive call.
Next scene, before we get to George's car, actually, is this really long establishing shot, like a bit of stock footage. It looks like Times Square, something in Midtown, and on top of it, we get this ADR, these looped lines of, what does Elaine say? She's like, thanks for giving me a ride home. I don't know what I did to deserve this.
Believe me, you do plenty,
right,
is what George says.
Right. We're getting a little bit of exposition here, which I guess was a part of the scene before with Ping.
The previous scene originally ended with George offering to give Elaine a ride home.
The previous scene went on a little bit too long. It wasn't getting a lot of laughs, so they decided to cut it with Jerry and Ping and move this George Elaine material just to the top of this establishing shot.
It's a noticeable ADR for once. Sometimes it's a seamless integration, but this time it's very noticeable.
Right. Well, we eventually cut to them just sitting in the parked car, assumingly outside of Elaine's apartment. Help me out here. George is sad that she's leaving. Like he wants to hang out.
Well, yeah, she's getting out of the car, and he's like, "Oh, you're going." And she's like, "Why? Do you want to do something?" So she's game, and He's
pretty
like,
nervous.
Yeah, he's very apprehensive, and she's like, "Well, what do you want to do? I am up for anything." And George nervously honks the horn by accident, making Elaine laugh. And then George steers the conversation to, "I gotta say, you were really good doing that porno thing. You're talented." And Elaine responds, "I was just kidding around." And then George gets really serious.
Oh, he's like, the way you did that thing.
This is where it gets really uncomfortable. I thought that thing you said about the sex being simulated was really funny. And there's more creepy George coming out.
Yeah, this is like something out of like a CSI episode. I don't watch that show, but some like episodic piece of television where there's some psycho stalking a girl, and they have to catch him before he kills again.
Right.
Elaine can obviously pick up that George is pretty nervous, I would think.
Yeah, I would think so too.
She's being polite, but...
Well, it seems like the character... we would think that Elaine would be able to pick that up, but I'm not getting that from her character.
You're not?
No. Because she's, George is still uncomfortable, and... Well, she's taken aback by that sex not being simulated line. And she's like, "Yeah, that was fun." And then George immediately says, "So I'll just speak to you through Jerry." She's like, "Okay, thanks for the ride."
Yeah, it's...
and that's how the scene ends, but you would think Elaine would be conscious of what's going on.
Part of me thinks she is picking up on it, but she's trying her best to ignore it. Because
that could be another thing.
It's just way too weird, and she's like, "Oh, shoot, maybe I shouldn't have done this."
And the scene ends with George, poking his head out of the car window trying to catch his breath. And a beautiful shot.
By Mr. Steinberg.
All right, let's take a short break.
So what's the deal with the ography on the end of pornography? I mean, it means to study something, right? I mean, you have stenography, geography, and pornography. When I'm watching pornography, I'm sure as all hell not studying. If anything, I'm studying my They should call it geography. You can get a master's in geography. Imagine that. Being a college student, Betty Lou asking you out on a Friday night. "Sorry, Betty, I gotta go home. I got my geography homework. Can't go out." And so you see, that's why you'll never see a
Because the space-time continuum?
Exactly. The government would never allow it to exist.
It's fascinating, Gary. Hey, what's with this lineup anyways? It's just porn, right?
Just porn? Oh, sweet innocent Elena. This guy has the best stuff. He has an exclusive distributor. They give him everything before anyone else has it. And all he asks in return are a few minor concessions.
"Are you chewing gum in my store? No porn for you!"
Okay, I'm next. How do I look?
What's the opposite of a man? Anyways, what's this guy? Some kind of porn nut?
Not to his face.
Next!
One ass to mouth, please.
How's your today? Is it fresh? You should have a du jour. I'm not even sure that I'm in today. How's your...
No porn for you!
What?
Get out of my store! Next!
Okay, we're back.
We come back to Jerry's apartment. This is a few days later, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, I guess George gets the bald cream. So
That's right. It has to be at least 3 days.
At least 3 days. Jerry's on the phone speaking to someone at the comedy club where he performed and managed to get the woman's name and phone number who left the message on his tape. And here we get a little bit of that Jerry voice where he says, "These women think they can leave a sexy message and get away with it. Not bloody likely."
What is that?
It's a Cockney accent. Let me hear yours.
Not bloody likely. Kramer's is very grandized.
Yes, it's pretty bad. George arrives, very excited, as we mentioned, because the bald cream just arrived, and he brought it over. Kramer goes to get his video camera. He wants to film George's head so they can have a before and after look.
Yeah, and George is pleading, "No, don't get the camera. We don't need the camera." And I do like this. He says to Jerry, "Listen, I know you're skeptical, but I really believe in the Chinese." And Jerry responds, "Yes, I am skeptical." And George sets himself up. He's like, I know you're skeptical. So why does he get all riled up when Jerry affirms it? Yes, I am skeptical. Why do you have to be so skeptical? He's trying to help. Zhang Zhao's a great man.
Oh, God. And, well, they start filming George's head, as we mentioned at the start of the episode. And this is such a great segment, but it eventually leads to, George just getting fed up. He heads to the bathroom to put the cream on.
Well, let's, again, set up that shot. It's an over-the-top shot looking down on George's head. Mm-hmm. You can see the crown of his head, and he's kind of tilting from side to side. That is, according to the writers, a direct recreation of the footage that they took of Larry David's head and Bob Shaw and Kenny Kramer when Larry David was trying out this bald cream in the 80s. Art imitating life.
There you go. While George is in the bathroom, we get a little bit of Kramer's ongoing storyline about his jacket from the parking garage. Mm-hmm. Vinny, can you fill people in on the storyline so far?
Actually, remember I was talking about these callbacks. Here's callback number 2.
Oh.
Number 2. So Kramer says to Jerry, you remember that guy who took my jacket, the one they found at my mother's house? And we learned that my mother told me he got arrested for mail fraud, which I thought was a nice foreshadowing of things to come.
Sure.
with a certain jolly mailman. But we learned that this guy who originally had the jacket is in jail. Jerry inquires, what happened to the jacket? Did he take it with him? And Kramer says, that's what I intend to find out. So this jacket, we previously heard about it in the parking garage. Now we're seeing it in the tape. And we'll also see the jacket's storyline continue in next week's episode, The Nose Job.
But we'll save it until then, right, to talk about it.
That's right.
So George comes out of the bathroom with this big glop of cream on his forehead.
Well, you can see it. You gonna walk around like that?
It stinks. Can you smell that? You stink.
How long are you supposed to leave it on for?
All day.
Hello?
Hello, it's Elaine Benes.
Well, hello.
Hello, did you ever find out who that woman was?
Yes, I got her number.
Is that Elaine?
Yeah.
Hi, Elaine.
So, I guess you figure you're in for a pretty wild night.
Well, as I said, this type of thing is very common in show business.
Well, listen, I'm at Arlene's. You want me to stop by?
Sure.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Did she say hello?
What? Oh, I don't know.
What do you mean? She heard me say hello. Did she say hello back?
I don't know. Who keeps track of hellos?
Isn't it polite to say hello when somebody says hello?
She's coming up.
Elaine's coming up?
Yeah, why? What's wrong?
How often do you cut your toenails?
I would say every 2.5 to 8 weeks.
The other night, I was sleeping with Marion, and I rolled over and I cut her ankle with my big toe.
The big toe, the captain.
What?
The captain of the toes. Hello?
Jerry?
Yeah?
Jerry, listen, I got too much stuff to do. I can't come over. Forget it.
Oh, okay. Too bad.
So, when are you gonna call her?
As soon as I get off the phone with you.
Good luck.
Okay. Bye. What happened? Would you take it off?
Yeah, that was enough.
That's it? You gave up?
No, I'm working on it, sister. Who was that?
How's Elaine? She changed her mind. She's not coming over.
Elaine mentions that she's at Arlene's.
Yes.
It made me wonder who Arlene is exactly.
My initial thought when I heard that, I thought it was Noreen.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Who dated Dan. But no, this is Arlene. So yeah, we always wondered. We wanted to make like a little like a genealogy tree of everybody related to a Seinfeld character. Like she has a sister Gail, Father Chelios. But this would be Arlene, friend, whose house she is at. But who has the time? But anyways, we also have the third callback from a previous episode. Kramer asks Jerry, how often do you cut your toenails? Jerry responds, I'd say every 2.5 to 8 weeks. And we learned that Kramer was sleeping with Marion the other night, rolled over and cut her ankle with his big toe. So there's the third callback from a previous episode, The Library, while Kramer was dating Marion the librarian.
Mm-hmm.
And I always think this is Larry David doing this, sprinkling little, pieces of information from previous episodes forward in time. And the continuity it's so rewarding. I feel privy that I get to, that's that girl from two episodes ago.
Right.
I think that's so good. And I feel like it was unprecedented for a sitcom to be doing this at the time.
Sure. Almost like unnecessary. Like, I don't know if he was doing it for himself or for the audience.
And you got to think, because back then they didn't have, it wasn't a syndication yet. There weren't DVD sales or video sales.
Well, people, if anything, they're taping it.
Yeah, but still, like, how many people are going to watch an episode multiple times?
Mm-hmm.
Back then. And now it makes perfect sense to have all this continuity, which is why every other show does it. But back then, like, it's so ahead of its time for him to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I agree. Definitely starting, I feel like, a new trend in the sitcom world. So Jerry decides to call the woman who picks up, and it turns out her name is Alicia, I'm sorry. I have to bring this up here. Now, I was a little confused at the beginning because I thought Jerry, Kramer, and George would have recognized Elaine's voice in the tape message.
Mm-hmm.
We got a little bit here where Elaine told Jerry on the phone in the clip that she was at Arlene's.
Yeah.
And he tells her, I'm going to call that woman right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so she hangs up and she says, I'm not coming over. So she was going to come over. She gets the news that he's going to call that woman, and she says, hey, I'm not going to come over.
I see what you're saying.
I wonder if, I don't know how this works logistically, but what if the number Jerry got went to Arlene's house? That was Arlene's phone number.
Uh-huh.
And Arlene is pretending to be this Alicia person.
Oh, I thought what you were going to say was that Elaine was going to voice this woman on the tape and continue up the charade.
Well, maybe. Oh, you know what? That's a good point. Maybe she is, but since Jerry actually goes on a date with this woman, it might seem kind of weird if her voice is one thing on the phone and then it's different in real life. I just think that...
But that sounds flimsy, though.
Well,
because why would this Arlene, who's pretending to be Alicia, go on a date with Jerry?
Well, it doesn't. It's all moot at this point because let's assume Jerry paid for the meal. As we find out later, Alicia, or if it is in fact Arlene, didn't have any connection with him because she's like, all right, Elaine, I'll do you this favor. I'll go out on a date with your friend. He'll buy me a nice dinner, but I'm not going to do anything with him. I'm not going to kiss him. I'm not going to be into him. And Elaine would then be saying, hey, just do this for me. Let's keep up the act. I don't know. It was just a thought.
It's like a Seinfeld conspiracy, and it does have a little bit of weight to it. But my initial thought was that, Elaine left the tape, her voice on it, and, Jerry called the comedy club. Whoever was waiting in that section gave him the number of somebody that the waitress recognized. And that's who he ended up going on the date with. Somebody from the comedy club that wasn't Elaine.
Right. And that's totally possible. And in all honesty, probably more likely. I just think that's a very big coincidence, or not coincidence, convenient that whoever gave Jerry the phone number and the name of the person got it wrong. And they weren't like, oh, yeah, it's your friend Elaine. She was sitting right next to the tape recorder. This waiter or waitress decided to choose someone else who was in the vicinity, who wasn't the person who left the message. I don't know.
So you're saying the waitress was in on the prank as well?
I don't know. It's all I'm saying is this arc, the storyline,
deeper and deeper.
As much as I like this storyline and I like this episode, it's a little flimsy for everything to. It's either there's either a conspiracy on Elaine's part to make this storyline work, or it's there's just very convenient story art. There's just very convenient story beats to make it work. And I prefer the conspiracy angle as opposed to the flimsy thing.
It's like we got to ask Bob Shaw now.
Get him on the horn.
It's interesting because I didn't think of that. That's where you were going with that. Because it makes sense. Like she's like, oh, I'll just come over. I'm not going to come over. I got too much stuff to do. So it is kind of, why would she even say it? Well, I guess for the sake of the joke, to have George run back and forth an additional time to the bathroom.
Yeah, and that works. Like, I think you can have it both ways. I think you could have Elaine you can support this conspiracy theory and have the joke of George running back and forth. Like, I think they both work together.
Yeah.
To me, it just doesn't make sense that Elaine would say, hey, I'm going to come over. I'm not going to come over for the sake of George running back and forth to the bathroom. Like, to me, that's just not, it's not satisfying enough. I want to believe that Elaine is a part of this conspiracy, and that's part of the reason why she's not coming over. Okay. God, too much. I'm sorry.
No.
Next scene is at Jerry's apartment, but this is after his date with Alicia. Alicia, gosh. He's looking a little down, and Kramer zips in.
He is flying. He's got a motor on his ass. He waits for as soon as Jerry closes the door, Kramer's right behind him.
I feel like it becomes more of a trend of having Jerry's door, as soon as it closes, you hear Kramer's open.
Yeah.
It's perfectly synced.
If there was ever a Seinfeld theme park of some sort,
God,
it'd be nice to have not a ride, but an attraction where here's a door, here's a wood floor, put your socks on and try a Kramer entrance, and we'll film you.
And a whole amusement park just dedicated to that feature?
That's a genius idea. Yeah. You got the Cyclone, merry-go-round.
So just go to Coney Island and find a door to slide through.
Yeah.
Well, Jerry explains that he was having a great time with Alicia, couple of laughs, but at the end of the night, he goes in for a little contact, and he gets the pullback. Have you ever gotten the pullback?
No.
No? At least they give you the decency of staying there while you attempt to plant one on him.
What are you doing? I do like that as a Seinfeld-ism of, this is one of those phrases. The pullback is a thing, Mm-hmm. You immediately know what it means, what it represents.
So George buzzes, Jerry lets him up, and we get a little weird moment here with Kramer. What is he? He wants Alicia's phone number?
Yeah. Because Kramer knows how to handle the psychotics. He's a pod, he's an alien.
Sure. But
we haven't touched on that recently.
We haven't. It's been a while, but we are getting a little bit more of that. Kramer is the Kavorka angle.
The Lothario, yeah.
Yeah, we got a little bit of that with Marion, the librarian. Hey, wait a second. Is he cheating on Marion?
Hey, that's a good point, because they're together right now.
Yeah.
What's up with maybe she's mad at him. Uh-oh.
Kramer gets involved with this Alicia girl. That's why we never hear about Marion ever again. Yep. George enters wearing this like a 10-gallon hat. Is that the right term?
Yeah.
Is that a 10-gallon?
Sure.
I love this reveal. He pulls the hat off, and there's just another glop of cream.
Can't you massage it in? Like, do you have to leave a big chunk like that?
Well, Kramer runs to get the videotape from before so they can compare any growth. But George is a little nervous. He really needs to tell Jerry something.
I've become attracted to Elaine.
All right. Sit down, George.
Kramer, could we do this later?
Oh, I got the tape right here.
Kramer, let's do this later.
Okay, now, this is the tape that we made earlier. And I think that I see a couple of buds right here.
Really? You think?
Kramer,
Yeah.
I would like to talk to George for a minute, please.
About what?
It's kind of private.
Like the big toe captain?
Oh, so you're doing my bit?
I'm not doing the bird! Right, okay, all right. I'm gonna take a look at this, huh?
Does she know?
No.
How did it happen?
I can't say.
Well, why can't you say?
Because I promised her.
I thought you just said she doesn't know.
She doesn't.
So how can you promise her?
Because she asked me to.
What is this, an Abbott and Costello routine?
We always talk about Jerry being such a huge fan of Abbott and Costello, and this is the epitome, if not a blatant it's not a blatant ripoff. It's a homage to the Abbott and Costello routine of who's on first, but they actually make a point of pointing it out.
Yeah, Abbott and Costello is almost like the foundation or like the blueprints, I think, to get this show off the ground, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love the bit where you doing my bits? It kind of reminds me of Baby. What are you doing, George, now?
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah, you stealing my babies?
Well, George goes on to tell Jerry that Elaine, I like it how he says this, Elaine was the voice on your tape recorder. It was supposed to be a joke, but Jerry wants to listen to it, and they have this great little struggle with the headphones to hear.
Why does George
tape.
still want to listen to it?
It is weird. He's like,
Yeah.
George, you've gotten off enough,
And-
and you've got a problem too. Like,
And you've got that stuff on your head, so. And Jerry plays the she's my ex-girlfriend, I believe I have precedence card.
very interesting, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd use that card. I'd just be like, dude, this is my tape recorder. You've heard it enough. I haven't heard it with this new information. Come on. And we get Elaine buzzing to come up, and George, oh man, just sprints to the bathroom. It's incredible.
Oh my goodness. He even does almost a cartoon like, you know when a cartoon is going to try and escape and it's
They run in place.
yes, and and then they take off. He looks just like that.
I can't think of the scene, but isn't there a moment where Newman has to run?
Newman does a sprint across the New York stage when they're playing Risk.
Yeah,
It's like, your car is getting towed.
But there's a moment where he runs in place too, like where he's having trouble getting started. I don't know. It's going to hit me as soon as we stop recording. But this moment, this joke, as you mentioned, the cartoon homage is definitely played again. So Elaine enters wearing, I would say, a very standard outfit. I don't know if you noted this, but it's like a yellow blazer, plaid skirt, white socks.
Yep.
Oh, come on.
Loving her.
So Jerry's listening to the tape when she walks in, and what are the noises he's making? They're not moaning, but...
Oh, brother. Oh,
God,
I have got a pain in my side.
yeah. It's very Jerry, the delivery. It's perfect. Mm-hmm. And here we get the wrap up for the episode.
Something stinks in here.
What are you doing here?
I was the one who talked into your tape recorder.
I know, George told me.
You told him?
He threatened me.
Where did you come up with all that stuff?
Oh, that was nothing.
Elaine, I have to tell you something.
George, no.
No.
George, I'm telling you.
What is it?
I'm very attracted to you.
I found a hair! Yes! Okay, come here. Take a look at this.
Ever since I found out that you left a message on Jerry's tape recorder,
Whoa! That was you?
It was a joke.
Wait. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. Elaine, I can't believe that is you.
I think I'll get going.
stick around a while.
It's early.
We'll order Chinese.
Jerry just throws George under the bus without any hesitation. I know George told me. And Elaine gets pissed, it's great. And this reminds me of a similar situation in the Red Dot when the three are talking about George buying the sweater. And, Elaine outsmarts George and says, well, Jerry told me that you bought the sweater knowing the Red Dot was on it.
You
and
told
he's like,
her?
you told
How could
her?
you do
Yeah.
that?
I didn't tell you, she tricked you idiot. So that kind of reminded me of the Red Dot episode.
It's the old switcheroo.
Uh-huh. And the comedic timing of George saying, I've become very attracted to you, Jerry saying, "Ay,"
George.
and Kramer bursting in, I found a hair. It's like poetry. It's
Yes.
so beautifully done.
We've talked about this so many times on the show, but when these episodes reach a crescendo where all of the pieces line up and it's this culmination, it's just beautiful. And this is so good too because this episode, for the most part, is in the apartment. We get one scene in George's car, one scene at the coffee shop. Everything else is at Jerry's.
Good point.
I should save this for our ratings, but it is kind of a throwback of sorts to like a season 2 episode where you don't have access to a lot of different sets. We're going to use the main 4 as much as we can. Yeah, it's just beautiful. And not to mention that great shot kind of going down the height. Kramer to Jerry to George. And then Elaine just kind of, ugh.
And we should also point out, if you can ever access those bloopers, there is a wonderful blooper with Julia trying to get through this scene. and they're like, "We're ordering Chinese food. It's early," and she cannot keep it together.
Yeah.
And she even exits the set, closing Jerry's door behind her, and she is almost in tears, just cracking up, and it just warms your heart to see it. So check out those bloopers for season 3.
And we end the episode with a little bit of stand-up.
I left a message on my phone machine the other day with kind of a breathy voice. No matter what a woman says, if it's in that breathy voice, you have cancer. Really? Sounds pretty good. The stewardess could lean over and whisper in my ear, "Did you put on your seatbelt? We're about to go into a mountain." And I would go, "Really? So what are you doing later by the ruptured remains of the fuselage? How about some peanuts over by the black box? I'll meet you there."
I agree. If somebody tells you bad news in that breathy voice, it is more comforting.
I think the stand-up is so good. This kind of took me off guard because it's during the credits. It's not...
That's right.
It's easy to miss if you've ever watched this episode in syndication or if you had, I don't know, bootleg versions of the episode. Sometimes they clip it. So this seemed kind of fresh to me. And yeah.
Oh, that's a treat.
Yeah, such a treat. And this is so, I don't know, it's so true, but it's, I agree with this.
Yes, so true.
Yes. There's something about that breathy voice. You'll do anything for it.
Yeah.
I am surprised, though, that Jerry made a cancer joke. Not that it's offensive, but it reminded me a little bit of the butter shave where I have cancer.
That would have been fun to splice that line into this scene and see how it plays out.
Bum 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 bum. All right, ratings?
Ratings.
So, what do you think?
Not much else to say, Vinny. I love this episode. Going into it, I wasn't expecting much. I think that will happen from time to time. I think I always found this episode a little awkward just because we're not used to Elaine, or at least seeing this side of Elaine where she'd make a joke like this. She always seems to... she just wouldn't joke around with the guys about this sort of thing. At least that's the vibe I always had about her character.
She's got more of a proper or like an etiquette to her. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, by no means is she like, I would never joke about that, but I just don't see it that much in the show that I'd say this is, that's totally something Elaine would do. Mm-hmm. Having said that, though, and revisiting this episode, it totally makes sense. I love it. It's great. Elaine is one of the guys. She would joke about this. We've already established how much the characters love to screw with each other and joke around. So I'm not so much concerned with that anymore. I think this episode is great. I think it's absolutely one of the highlights of season 3. There's this beautiful balance with all 4 of the characters. Never once during this episode was I like, oh man, where's Kramer? Where's Elaine? Where's George? Everyone had a lot to work with here. Of course, George and Jerry probably more than Elaine and Kramer, but it still struck a good balance going between all the characters. Even when Elaine wasn't in a scene, she still had a presence because she was the one on the tape. And as I just mentioned earlier, I love the fact that so much is in Jerry's apartment. It feels like one of those season 2 episodes, which, while they might not be my favorite episodes of the series as a whole, at the heart, that's what I really love about Seinfeld are these little interactions between these 4 characters. I'm not a huge fan of the, special guests of the weeks. Oh, those classic one-liners. Those are great and all, but it's really the accumulation of all of these little conversations between the 4 characters that I think make some of the best Seinfeld episodes. So that being said, I'm going to give this 9 buds of hair out of 10.
Solid rating.
Yeah.
For a solid episode. I'm going to take a page out of our gracious guest, Peter Bellman's book, and something that he told us was that what makes a great Seinfeld episode is a great Elaine storyline, and that's what we have right here. Elaine coming up with this prank to put this sexy, throaty voice on Jerry's tape recorder to mess with him. It ends up backfiring, and the chaos that ensues is an absolute pleasure. Jerry's kind of the straight man in this episode, but he does have, some meat. He goes on. I contend that Elaine, came up with this prank, and Jerry went on this date with somebody, and it ended up backfiring because Jerry went out with her under false pretenses. So, but that's Jerry's storyline. It was great. George attempting to further his appearance by getting this bald cream, and we'll see this, later on in seasons when he wears a toupee. I kind of like them playing up Jason's scraps of hair.
We didn't really talk about it that much, but there is plenty of bald storylines to go around. Yeah.
Oh, baldness is a very Seinfeldian topic. Mm-hmm. And that's most likely going to be as a result of Larry David, and that's another reason why I admire him so much. I didn't like hearing that Elaine was a baldess in this episode. That cut me to my core. But I like seeing Michael Richards come into his own as Kramer with the entrances and the when he takes the tape recorder, and just the way the episode was shot, the use of the video camera. I don't know. This episode really flew under the radar for me, and I never paid much attention to it until, again, every week we were forced to really look at an episode under a microscope, and I'm falling in love with it all over again. So having said that, I'm going to give this 9 copies of Elaine Does the Upper West Side out of 10.
Well said. That's going to do it for us at Seincast. Vinny, could you let everyone know how they can get in touch with us?
I don't think so. No, you can email us at seincast@gmail.com, find us on Facebook, like us, or follow us on Twitter at Seincast. We also have a Tumblr and a... I always forget.
You got it.
Hold on, I'll get it. I feel like Frank Costanza right now. Pinterest.
He got it.
All right.
Also, if you haven't already, please leave us a rating and review on iTunes. The more feedback we get, the more likely other Seinfeld fans will find out about the show. So, what episode do we have for next week, Vinny?
Next week, we're discussing the 9th episode of Season 3, The Nose Job.
I didn't wash.
Neither did I.
But for now, I'm Matt.
I'm Vinny.
Signing off. Seinecast is not endorsed by Castle Rock Entertainment, Sony Pictures, or NBC, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. The official Seinfeld site can be found at sonypictures.com/TV/Seinfeld. Seinfeld, the Seinfeld logo, and all names, pictures, and audio of Seinfeld characters are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Castle Rock Entertainment or their respective trademark and copyright holders.
If you send money, they send cream.
They send me. All right. Ask them, does it really work?
真能长真头发吗？真是。They say you grow hair. Look like Stalin.
Ask them, are there any side effects?
有没有副作用 ？Impotence.
Oh, funny. He's a funny guy.